Learning shapes our lives. It empowers us to acquire knowledge, master new skills, and adapt to a constantly changing world. In high-stakes fields like medicine, effective learning is not just beneficial, it's critical. Doctors, nurses, and surgeons hold lives in their hands. Their ability to recall information quickly and accurately can be the difference between a life saved and a life lost. Imagine a surgeon in the operating room facing a complex procedure. Every decision, every movement relies on their ability to access and apply years of training. This is where effective learning techniques come into play. These strategies empower individuals to move beyond rote memorization. They unlock a deeper understanding and facilitate the applications of knowledge in real-world scenarios. But these techniques aren't just for surgeons. Whether you're a student, a professional, or simply someone who loves to learn, understanding how to learn effectively can unlock your full potential. It's about working smarter, not harder, and maximizing the power of your amazing brain. To truly grasp the importance of effective learning, we need to understand how our memory works. Our brains are not simply empty vessels waiting to be filled with information. Instead, memory is an active process involving a series of stages. First, we have encoding, where our brains take in new information from our senses. Imagine reading a textbook or listening to a lecture. This new information is temporarily stored in a region of the brain called the hippocampus, much like a mental notepad. Next comes consolidation. Here, the brain works behind the scenes, strengthening the neural connections related to the new information. This process, often occurring during sleep, transfers the information to the neocortex for long-term storage. Think of it as transferring notes from your notepad to a well-organized filing cabinet. Finally, we have retrieval. This is where the rubber meets the road, the ability to access and recall information when we need it. Every time you remember something, you're engaging in retrieval. Importantly, each act of retrieval further strengthens those neural pathways, making the information more accessible in the future. Traditional study methods often rely on passive techniques like rereading notes or highlighting textbooks. While these methods can be helpful for initial exposure to information, they don't effectively engage the retrieval process, which is crucial for long-term retention. This is where active recall, a powerful learning technique, comes into play. Active recall involves actively retrieving information from memory without looking at the answers. This can be done through various methods, such as flashcards, practice questions, or even simply trying to recall information from memory after learning it. The act of struggling to recall information, even if it leads to mistakes, strengthens the neural connections associated with that information, making it more likely to be remembered in the future. Think of it like exercising a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Similarly, the more you actively recall information, the stronger those memories become. This technique forces your brain to work harder, leading to a deeper understanding and better retention compared to passive review. We've all experienced the frustration of forgetting information shortly after learning it. This is where spaced repetition, another effective learning technique, comes into play. Instead of cramming information into your brain in one go, spaced repetition involves spacing out your study sessions over time. This technique is based on the principle that our brains are more likely to remember information if we revisit it multiple times, with increasing intervals between each review. For example, you might review material the same day you learn it, then again 2 days later, a week later, and so on. By spacing out your review sessions, you're essentially forcing your brain to retrieve the information when it's on the verge of being forgotten. This desirable difficulty strengthens the memory trace, making it less likely to fade away. Spaced repetition is particularly effective for retaining factual information, vocabulary, and language learning. In a study on surgical residents learning a complex suturing technique, those who used spaced repetition significantly outperformed their counterparts who crammed. This real-world example highlights the power of effective learning techniques, even in high-pressure environments. The principles of active recall and spaced repetition can be applied to any learning endeavor. By incorporating these techniques into your study routine, you can optimize your learning, improve your retention, and ultimately unlock your full potential. Remember, learning is a journey, not a destination. Embrace the process, experiment with different techniques, and discover what works best for you.